Hey, what is up guys? So I'm here to give you guys my thoughts on the new Necromancer DLC from Diablo, and this is after acquiring all of the sets that you can actually get in the game, as well as getting every single new unique in the game for the Necromancer. Now I'll go into depth about what each new unique does, and I'll also give you guys gameplay of every single set, because I was watching a lot of reviewers and they didn't even have like all of the items, and they were talking about, you know, I'm not sure if this set is the best. Well, it's really easy to tell which set is the best by just going over on the leaderboards and seeing that everyone runs the exact same set. So let me give you guys some gameplay. This is just a Torment 10 riff, so it'll be pretty easy. Now, as far as like the Necromancer being good, like in the game, yes, it's good. And then I'll talk a little bit about like, is it worth it? Because some of you guys were coming into the stream and you guys want to know, should I buy this, or, you know, is this worth 15 bucks? Now, that is definitely something that I would say is subjective, but for me, I had a blast. I put like 20 hours into it, pretty much got everything that I could get. I mean, there's a few things that I didn't get ancient versions of, but it's still the same item nonetheless. Now, what I'm using right now, this is what is considered the most meta. This is the Bone Armor set, and it's called the Inorui's set. And basically what it does is it creates a swirling bone armor around me. Everything will reduce your damage by about 50% on set items, so that's kind of irrelevant. Increases the damage of bone armor, but the main thing that you're getting out of this set is that the bone armor will activate a swirling tornado of bone. It deals a bunch of damage, and then on top of that increases the damage that they take from the Necromancer by 2,750%. And that pretty much outclasses most of the sets just in general in the game. You'll see I'm going to be applying curses. I'm going to be, well, if there's a target here, I'm going to be using what's called Corpse Lance, and it's going to use a corpse, and it's just going to basically one-shot things. And we can go teleport around really fast. And like I said, I'll go into depth about like each item that is new and unique, but I figure I'd give you guys some gameplay, and then we'll talk a little bit about like other sets. So yeah, this is the Bone Armor set. We're going to go ahead and run some of the other sets, just so you guys can see, again, some gameplay of each set. So that's basically the core concept of the Bone Armor set, which is to basically go around attacking things, and then you try to Corpse Lance some of the elite monsters. But anyways, let's go ahead and equip some of the other sets. Now, this is the Blood set. I'm going to go ahead and just equip this one. I love how you can just snapshot different builds now. Now, how this build works is some skills that the Necromancer uses cost life. Now, the skills that cost life, sometimes they have like a bonus type of effect, or usually they're, I would say, better. But anyways, the way that the Blood set works, which is the Trag'Oul set, is that one of the two set bonuses makes it so Blood Rush gains the effect of every room. Blood Rush is the teleport in the game, and you can actually go through objects as well as go on higher and lower elevations. So it's, I would say it's more of a blink than actually like a movement ability. I mean, it definitely does let you move faster, but I would consider it a blink, but it's great. But anyways, so it gains the effect of every rune, and then while at full life, your healing from skills is added to your maximum life for 45 seconds, up to 100% more. So you'll see I have about 1 million life here, and I can actually double that, which I'll show you guys in a second. But we're really here for the 6-piece bonus, which is that our life spending abilities deal 3,300 increased damage, but cost twice as much life, and then our healing from skills is increased by 100%. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what the heck that looks like. Let's just go ahead and teleport over here. Find an enemy over here to the left. And I'll show you guys some of the different abilities. You guys can see I have the Golem out as well as the skeletons. So I'm going to go ahead and just start absorbing some life here. And you can see my life is slowly going to be going up to 2 million. Now, this set, I would say, doesn't do as much damage. There's only one real like endgame build, which is the Bone Armor set that I was using first. But you guys can see, well, hang on, let me get out of combat. So I can actually, well, what you're seeing is Blood Nova, but what's interesting with this set, I'm not sure if this is not implemented incorrectly yet, but what I'm doing is I'm using the 6-piece bonus, and then I'm making it so Siphon Blood drains blood from 2 additional targets, and then on top of that, I have attacking with Siphon Blood has a 50% chance to cast a free Blood Nova. Now, I think that they're probably going to be changing this in the future, because that doesn't actually let me get the increased damage. Because I guess I'm not spending life, even though Blood Nova does cost life in the first place. Let me go ahead and just do the Blood Nova so you guys can see how that looks. Definitely one of the coolest looking skills in the game. And now you'll see I'll actually be doing damage. So I hope that they can address this in the future. But as far as energy, or mana, I should say, how the Necromancer works is there's corpses that will appear after you kill enemies, and then you can use the corpses for certain skills like Corpse Lance, which I showed you earlier, or you can devour the corpse and that will give you essence. Essence is mana. Essentially in the game. You can also get extra life, so there's kind of like two resources as far as energy goes. There's essence and then corpses, because some skills require a corpse. Now, you can still generate corpses without having to kill things. That is done with these gloves that I can show you guys, which are the Moribund gauntlets here, and this will make it so my golem sheds a corpse every second, so I don't even have to worry about actually killing units, because sometimes what you can find yourself in is a situation where you don't have essence because there's not a corpse to generate essence by absorbing it, and on top of that you can't use some of your skills because nothing is dead. So yeah, that kind of helps out with that. But like I said, I'm going to show off all the sets, and then we'll talk about like what you exactly get with the Necro. Actually, we'll mix it up. Let me go show you exactly what the heck you get for your 15 bucks. Because again, this was a question that was asked on the stream when I was streaming. But anyways, so you get the Necromancer class. Now, there is still new content, even if you do not own the Necromancer DLC. There's new areas. There's also these things called Challenge Rifts, which is you playing someone else's character, and you have to try to beat this time, and then you get a bounty cache, which gives you 8 of the crafting materials over here, which is definitely nice. It's kind of fun to try out other people's builds because some of them are not very efficient, which you will realize if you go ahead and do them. As far as like the bounty rewards, it's kind of mediocre. I think it's more so for fun because and the amount of time that you can get 8, you can get 16 by doing an actual bounty. But overall, like it's more so, I would say, for fun than actually like getting like a huge bounty. I think they really should increase the amount that you get to a lot more. That way, it's more viable for everyone to run it. Because at the moment, I mean, it's kind of running someone else's build again that might not be super efficient, but it's kind of cool to see what other people decide to make. Even though, again, some of the skills that they're using won't even work with the builds, and you'll notice that. But anyways, I've showed you guys the bone armor build. I've shown you guys the blood set build, and next up we're going to go ahead and show off the army build. So I'm going to go ahead and equip this. Now you can, however, use this other 2-set bonus. Now there's 4 sets in the game. There's the blood set, the bone armor set, the army set, and the bone spear set. Now with the set for the army, there's actually another set that you can equip that can kind of work with it, which is the Jeseth's arms. And when you have both of them equipped, it has the ability to make it so that when the target of your command skeleton dies, your skeletons are automatically commanded to attack a nearby target. So unlike the Witch Doctor, which like you just have pets and you summon them and they just kind of go, the Necromancer's skeletons as well as the Golem are active abilities, so you can activate them and they'll do something. Now I have the active ability over here to make it so they attack and increase their damage against the target by 50%. And when I use this ability, it's going to make it so once they kill the enemy, they're going to be using the skill again. So I won't have to essentially cast the skill again. They're just going to keep on like proccing their effect. And then it has another ability where while my skeletons are commanded to attack a target, all of your minions deal 400% increased damage. Now, with the set of the Bones of Rathma, which is the Bone Army set, I have Royal Ring of Grandeur in. But anyways, it makes it so the minions, the 6-piece makes it so each active skeletal mage increases the damage of my minions and my army of the dead by 250%. So basically with this build, you want this ring over here called the Circle of Neluge. And the Circle of Neluge makes it so when I cast Skeletal Mage, it casts another one, and they also last a little bit longer. So unlike in Diablo 2, which you just summon, like, you had Skeleton Mages and then you had your normal Skeleton Warriors, you can actually cast the ability to, hold on, my essence is low. I'm running one of them that makes it so they deal like a lot more damage by using up all of my essence, so all of my mana. I'm going to put them on life support just because I was testing out this other build. Now, as far as like endgame builds, pretty much the bone armor one is like every single person is playing the exact same build pretty much. I'm running an Ingom here because I like to teleport around really fast, but let me go and show you guys this build. So with this build, I'm actually running those gauntlets, which makes it so my golem can shed a corpse every second. That really helps out with energy management because I need to constantly be casting Skeletal Mage because I won't be getting that 6-piece bonus, which makes it so they deal 250% more damage. And then in addition to that, like I said before, most of the sets in the game will give you a 50% damage reduction. Some of them just do it in different ways. But anyways, there's also another 2 set piece bonus where my minions have a chance to reduce the cooldown of Army of the Dead by 1 second each time they deal damage. I don't have that equipped, but I'll show you some of the other skills. I just kind of want to show off the sets first, and then we'll go over some of the other skills. So in order to do damage with this build, I'm going to have these mages, and pretty much I can walk around summoning mages, and they deal damage, and that's pretty much this build. Now, I do have to make sure that this is at like 10 at all times, otherwise, again, we won't be dealing damage if they're not at 10. So, yeah, that's this build. Things die. Oh, we got two-handed scythe. This is actually one of the meta items, which I'll show you guys in a second. I actually put it in the cube already for another build, but we'll go ahead. We'll identify it because I actually don't think I have this one organized in here. It's in the cube. But anyways, this is Relinia's Shadow Hook. This is a very meta item. So it makes it so every point, maximum point of essence, which is our mana, increases the damage by 0.5, and Bone Spikes generates additional essence, but you don't run that in that build anyways. It's basically because it's a two-hander, and every point of maximum essence just increases your damage, so it's like free extra damage. But now that we've shown off the army build, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the Bone Spear build, which is the last one over here, and then I'll talk a little bit about the other uniques that you can acquire in the game. Let's go ahead and equip this. Oh, looks like we didn't put in, I guess some of these. Let's just throw these in here, just so they're not empty. Is this empty too? Okay, so let's go ahead and continue on. Now this is, again, the Bone Spear build. Now, going back to what I was talking about before, is as far as like there's only one like end game viable build that's like more efficient. The reason why is because it increases the damage by 2,750% by all Necromancer skills, which can technically include anything. So I feel like it's kind of strange to kind of limit you on this, but nonetheless, how this build works is we have an item in the cube. I probably should move because I might die because I don't have the corpses yet. So what you want to do is, I should probably throw a Royal Ring of Grandeur in. Let me do that real quick for this build, because this one was very inefficient. So I was trying to do other things to it, but let me go ahead and make it like more efficient right now. But what you do with this build is you cast Bone Spear because it's a Bone Spear build, but each corpse I consume fires a Corpse Lance at a nearby enemy. And then on top of that, each enemy I hit with Bone Spear reduces the damage taken by 2% up to a maximum of like a certain integer. It adds up to 50% damage reduction. But the 6-piece bonus makes so each corpse I consume grants me an empowered Bone Spear charge that increases the damage of your next Bone Spear by 3,000%. Now in the cube I have this item called the Petrified Spike, which makes so Bone Spear costs 40 essence instead of its normal 20. I believe, yeah, it costs 20. So it doubles the cost of it, but it deals 450% increased damage. Now, obviously, we have to manage the energy here, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to reduce my damage. Kirspin's Sentence is an item which pretty much it's going to be in every build because it just does increased damage up to triple the amount. But we're going to go ahead and equip the Royal Ring of Grandeur here, just so I can make it so I can have the Golem shed corpses, because that makes the build a little bit better, I think, and it makes it much easier. Let me go ahead and, oh dang, where the heck did it go? So, like I said, I have every set here. When you snapshot, sometimes it makes your inventory a little bit unorganized, but now that we have Golem shedding a corpse, let me go ahead and equip Golem so I can have it actually shed a corpse. Let's do the Blood Golem, just because I love the way he's summoned. Check this out. So if I activate it, and he resummons himself. He looks awesome. Alright, so let's go ahead and instead of, I don't know what we have. I think I was doing this so I can generate essence, but it's not really required anymore. Let me go ahead and equip Bone Spikes now, because this is the thing that's going to generate a ton of damage. So let's go ahead and go back in. And you'll see that we will be melting things much, much faster now because we have the thing generating the corpses, which is going to generate extra damage.
Not enough essence.
So you'll see, I can run out of mana pretty fast in this build, but, well, once we absorb the, let me go ahead and grab that globe, because I have Reaper's Wraps, so that's going to give me extra, well, that, like, block was in the way, so I wasn't actually able to hit him. But, you can see, you hit for a lot of damage. Unfortunately, it's just not as great as, I wanted this build to be, like, kind of like the the Demon Hunter build where you're able to like one-shot things. You can definitely one-shot things. It's not like it's impossible to one-shot things, but I think that the other builds are just much more viable. And by other builds, I mean the Bone Armor set. But that's the Bone Spear set. Basically, you just use Bone Spear. You could probably get it a lot more efficient. But lastly, I wanted to go over some of the uniques and then kind of go over, you know, like my overall thoughts on it. And I think we already went over. Well, you can rotate, so I'm gonna go give you guys a full rotation. I think the Bone Armor set in black looks really cool. This is what I normally have, but I put it back to default so you guys can see the looks of every single one. But there's a full rotation of all of the set items. This is the Bone Spear, the Army, and the Bone Armor set. Now, as far as like what you get for your 15 bucks, you get the Necromancer class. In addition to that, you get wings, you get a Golem pet, you get a banner, a pennant, a portrait frame, 2 hero slots, and 2 stash tabs. Now, you will have to own Diablo. You can't just buy the Necromancer DLC because it's DLC. You have to own the game. But as far as other uniques in the game, I'm going to go ahead and go over them. Most of them are just stat, like, integer changes. So there's not, like, a crazy thing like in Diablo 2 where we had one of the helms where the Barbarian could transform into, like, the wolf that the druid had. I was really hoping to see something really crazy with that, but there are a few items that I kind of want to just mouse over, and most of them are just different stat integers where it's like it increases the damage of like Corpse Lance or Simulacrum, which is actually really cool. I wish that there was a build for this. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you guys, well, let me go over the items and then I'll show you guys what the heck these do. We'll move them out and we'll equip them. But most of the stuff, it's just like you deal extra damage against certain things. Uncursed enemies are pulled toward the target location. So let me go and actually snapshot to the Bone Armor set because I have a curse. So this is what a curse looks like. They look really awesome. And curses actually cost essence. But with some builds, again, that becomes a problem for some players in the earlier game. Where you don't have a corpse to generate in the very beginning of like a fight, and maybe you're out of essence and you can't use your skills, so you'll have to use something to generate your essence, or like mana essentially. But anyways, going back to the other uniques, so yeah, it can pull them all together, and then you can use Grim Scythe, which is actually great because it generates essence per enemy hit. So if you suck them all into like one small area, you smack them, you'll get a bunch of essence, and that can actually work pretty well with one of the legendary items, the Ledger's Disdain, and that makes it so it does extra damage for each point of essence it restores. But yeah, really cool item. But I don't think that anyone really uses them. There's a lot of items I feel like towards the end game, no one's really going to be using it. Like I said, pretty much everyone's just using the Bone Armor set. Litany, that's for the other build. This item is actually really cool. It's Lornell's Stun Zone. And what it does is it makes it so my damage reduction is increased by 0.83, and it can actually roll up to 95 or 0.95 for every 1% of life that I'm missing. So that's a huge amount of damage reduction. I'm not sure if they like nerfed it, because I remember before people were using it and like they were like unkillable, especially if you combine it with one of, oh, do I not have it on this character? Oh, the Esoteric Alteration, because while you're under 50% life, your resistances to all the types are increased by 75%, and then if you have that 95% damage reduction, or I guess up to like 94%, because otherwise you'd be dead, you get crazy amount of integers, especially if you have your HP really, really high. But yeah, that is another like idea that could be something fun. Maybe for like a litany set, I would throw this in the cube, and I'll try some crazy stuff later on once I get a lot of other things that being ancient legendaries. But there's things that I don't know if the Thorns build was actually viable. I'm going to be trying out that build. I want to get everything ancient legendaries, and then I can kind of try out that. But like I said, I have every single legendary in the Necromancer DLC. There's also things that increase corpse explosion damage. I'm going to go ahead and put this over here. I'll show you guys some of the other skills, but I want to kind of go over them. So this increases your movement speed with Blood Rush. This one makes it so when you're attacking with Bone Spikes, which I can show you, you can grab the wrong one over here, but makes it so you cast a Bone Nova at the target location. There's also this armor that makes it so whenever Devour is activated, that's consuming the corpses, you're going to get an additional, like you get double the essence and life, and then when if you have overflow, it's going to grant it over 3 seconds. We'll also show Revive. I want to show that off, which is a pretty cool skill. One of my favorites in Diablo 2. But yeah, it makes it so you revive all of, well, instead of reviving all of them, you use revive, and it consumes all of the corpses to erase one minion instead. And then we have this Bloodsong Mail, which in Land of the Dead, which I can show you, command skeletons, gains the effect of all runes and deals additional damage. That thing already basically kills everything, but it just can further increase your one-shot like usage of command skeletons. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. This. Oh, I'm thinking of Army of the Dead. That's actually a completely different skill, but we'll go over some of the like longer cooldowns in a second. Next up, we have Bone Spirit, increased damage. I'll show you guys some of those skills. Skeletal Mage gains the effect of a Gift of Death, which makes it so when it dies, it'll actually just spawn a corpse for you. And then this is just set item. And then we have Nayer's Black Death, so this increases your damage if you use poison skills, so just stat integer. And then we already went over this one, which was getting the chance to create a free Blood Nova. And then we have Scythe of the Cycle, and this makes it so your secondary skills deal up to 300% more damage, while Bone Armor is active, but it reduces the duration of Bone Armor. Now, I wanted to use a build with Ingiom so that I can make it so Bone Armor didn't really have a cooldown. Now, the cooldown is only 10 seconds anyway, so that's basically free with Ingiom, and what I'm able to do is basically just keep that up, 100% uptime. But I do want to get, I guess I can just throw this in the cube, technically, or you can, yeah, that would probably work since I already have Ingiom here. But this is the Petrified Spike, which I already showed you guys, but it was the one where it makes it so the Bone Spear does extra damage, which we used in the Bone Armor build. But next up we have Corpse Lance, deals extra damage, pretty straightforward. Then we have a helm that makes it so Army of the Dead gains the effect of unconventional warfare, which I'll show you guys that in a second. I went over the just Seth's items. And then we have the Fury Picks, so Siphon Blood gets 2 additional targets, which we used in combination with the Blood build. And then we have the Lost Time, which makes it so our cold skills reduce the movement speed of enemies, and then your movement speed is increased. And then lastly, we have the Golem Skin Breaches, which makes it so our Golem's damage is increased by 100%, and you take 30% less damage while it is alive. So I definitely want to get an Ancient pair of these for my Litany build, but let me go ahead and show you guys some of the other I don't know if I went over this. I'm pretty sure I went over everything. I might have snapshotted something, and might have moved something, but I'm pretty sure we went over every single piece of gear. I organized it, but again, apologize if we didn't go. I'm pretty sure we went over everything. Oh, this is an item I didn't show you, but I have it in the stash, but I have it also in the cube, which makes it so the Trangles, that's the name of it, which is the Trangles Corroded Fang, and it makes it so the Scythe rune, the Curse Scythe makes it so it has a 100% chance to apply a curse, and you deal 200% increased damage to cursed enemies. And that's pretty much what is in the meta. Just want to double check to make sure I didn't forget something, because again, sometimes when you snapshot, it just moves things. I don't think I showed off this item. I have everything here, but I just want to go over the Necromancer stuff. Anyways, so the damage bonus of command skeletons is increased by 30% per second if they attack the same target, and this one makes it so Death Nova deals 30% increased damage for every enemy within 15 yards. So this is used for the Death Nova build. And as far as like the parts that we went over Bloodsong, just want to double check on everything, because like I said, sometimes things move around if you snapshot. Okay, Corpus Splitting, we got that one. I showed off. Yeah, okay. And then as far as rings go, I showed off the Circle Deluge, and then one pulls them together when you curse them. Then we have the Simulacrum, which I will go over some of the other skills. Let's see, is there anything? Oh, this one, yeah, we have that one in the stash, which makes it so each corpse consumed in the Land of Dead, which is an area that we can. It's a skill that you use, and basically you can make it so you can have like infinite corpses. This is just a stat integer change of damage, and then we have the Wisdom of Kalan, which increases the stacks of Bone Armor. So basically, we will have more survivability. You could actually use it in this set. However, I really like the Traveler's Pledge. Now, I need to roll a better one, but this one it originally rolled like Dexterity, and I just rolled that off for a socket. But Anyways, let me go ahead and show you some of the other skills that the Necromancer has at its disposal that are like longer cooldowns, and kind of wanted to show you guys everything, and I'll tell you guys what I think about it. Oh, I didn't go over all of the passives, and I'm not going to go over every passive and every skill. I guess I can mouse over them, so if, like, you know, someone is interested in reading exactly what they do, you can feel free to pause it. Don't copy what I have on my passive skill slots, because what I'm running is not meta or efficient. I'm just trying out other things, and I wanted to mess around and just try out other things, because as of right now, like I said, everyone is running the exact same thing, which is the bone armor set. There's really nothing else that is in the game right now as far as like on the leaderboards, unless maybe we get like a patch change relatively soon. But anyways, let me go ahead and show you some of the other skills in the game. So let me just show you Bone Spirit, and that was it. Let me actually, do I have that on me? Oh, okay, I don't have the generate essence. Or the thing that generates a corpse, so I can't like use everything really quick without that. I might go back to town to equip it, but let me go show you guys Corpse Explosion. I want to show you guys like all of the skills. I could equip the thing that increases the damage of it, but it should be doing like good damage anyways, because the Swirling Bone Armor is going to make it so they take increased damage. But obviously, if I want to do a Corpse Explosion build, then I would probably want to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and do Corpse Explosion. After we get closer. So there's the corpse. It blows up. You guys get the idea. And their corpse lance, which already showed that off. Oh, revive. That's something that I want. Is there a corpse over here? So I can revive the enemies. And actually, let's go and check out the other skills. I want to put these ones on last because they have a really long cooldown. There's different curses that you can apply. There's ones where you can slow them down, and then there's ones where you can make it so you can heal, and there's one where it kills enemies that have less than 15% health, which can actually be pretty helpful on some of the targets that have like insane amounts of health, specifically like Rift Guardians. But how Bone Spirit works is, oops, let me mouse over it. Makes it so I get a charge every 15 seconds, and it does a lot of damage, but it has a very long cooldown. But its recharge time is reduced by 1 second for each corpse you consume. Let me go and show you guys what the heck that looks like. And basically, I would say this is more into around like one-shotting things. Oh, let me move out of here so you guys can see I can go through things with that. So I'll go cast it, and that's what it looks like. And it hits for 102 million. But I didn't apply the bone armor to the enemy, so I didn't like deal damage to them. Therefore, it didn't proc and deal like the extra damage. But you can get that up to like crazy amounts. Let me move back over here. And then I want to give it more time. Equip some other skills. Okay. I just want to move out of the way. And let's go ahead and let me show off Simulacrum. And I need like another skill here. Let me go ahead. Well, I have to have one for this to actually like work properly. Now these skills have a really long cooldown, but we'll go over them. Let's go ahead and use Army of the Dead. And then let's get rid of this, and let's put Land of the Dead. So this makes it so all corpses skills can be used at will for 10 seconds, and there's obviously modifiers for this. Let me go ahead and make it so I deal crazy amounts of damage. Now, let me go over, I guess I should go over like what each one does. Okay, so I have to equip a secondary skill because Simulacrum makes it so I have a duplicate of me and it clones my skills. Now, unlike the Wizard, which does, I believe, like 10% of the damage, this does the full damage. Now, it has a really long cooldown and it also costs health, but if I could get this at 100% uptime, it would be really cool. You can kind of try to get it a little bit further with this item, which makes it so it drains health, but it actually lasts twice as long. You can actually make it so it lasts 10 seconds instead of 15, but you can have double of them, so I thought that was really cool. We'll go ahead and equip that one. And Army of the Dead makes it so I raise a Skeletal Armory, and it just attacks the target like AoE. And then we have Land of the Dead, which makes it so I can use all of the corpse skills. So let's go ahead and go to some enemies. I'll proc this Bone Armor, and then we'll just use all the skills at once. There we go. And you can see these have really long cooldowns, but they do good damage. And yeah, that's this is what I'm using right now is the Death Nova. I think the coolest one though is Blood Nova. I mean, just look how cool this looks. I love how that looks. That's one of the coolest skills. But I don't know, is there any other skills that I really want to show off that are super unique? Showed Revive off. I guess we pretty much went over every skill. I'm not going to go into depth of each rune because then we got like an hour-long video. Maybe if you guys really want that, I can do it. But anyways, I've shown you guys off what is in the new Necromancer DLC. There are some new areas, but you have to like RNG it. But you don't need the Necromancer DLC to get that. You actually get that for free. They list exactly what you get for the Necromancer DLC. And to answer your question in a short like sentence, do I find that it is worth it? For me, I like Diablo. I'm a huge fan of it. I was very happy with my purchase. I think it's definitely priced at a nice point. I don't think $15 is too expensive at all. Again, you also, if you don't even like the Necromancer, like you say you play it, you don't like it, hey, you still get those 2 hero slots, which is kind of nice. And then you also have the stash tabs, and you get some wings, and you get some other things. I think that $15 is again, it's just it's not like so a lot of people were saying that, like, you know, I wanted to see the content and then I want to decide later on. There is no new season as soon as the Necromancer launched, by the way, so we'll have to wait for that. And hopefully there'll be new items. I'm hoping that the other sets can be more viable because, again, no one uses anything except for the bone armor set. I will be making a litany set, but I gotta get other things in the ancient legendary form. But I'll definitely be showing off some gameplay, and I'll probably live stream it. So you guys, if you guys want to follow me on Twitch, my link is down below in the description box. But yeah, to answer your question short, if you enjoy Diablo and you want a new class, the Necromancer is definitely a cool class that I enjoy. And it's different than the Witch Doctor because you have to manage corpses. And on top of that, like, how the Witch Doctor pet build works in terms of I guess comparing the two as far as pet builds go. This one you have to resummon your stuff over and over, where like the Witch Doctor, you kind of throw in your stuff, you throw in like the movement speed one, and you just kind of go along. But this one, you actually have to activate your skills if you want to play it, because you have to have the, well, you definitely want this ring. It's going to make your life so much easier. And as far as like how long it took me to get everything, I would say on average you could probably get everything in about 15 hours. The rest of the time I was spending trying to min-max and get other things. This ring was the hardest thing to get, though. I spent like 20,000 blood shards to get this. I don't know, maybe I just have bad luck, but oh no, not this ring. Hold on, it's not this one. My bad. It was Neluge. That ring. Oh gosh, like I said, when you snapshot builds, like, it moves things. But anyways, it's the ring that makes it so you can get double the mages. That was the most difficult thing to get. So if you're looking to get everything, go for that one last, because that one was the most difficult. I don't know if it's just my bad luck or it was just too difficult. But I've gotten like most of the sets I got in like, I think in like an hour or two. I actually got all the sets. So in terms of like length for gameplay, I mean, obviously if you're playing Diablo, you're gonna spend like at least like, you know. Well, I mean, I don't know how long you guys have played the game, but if you enjoy Diablo, pick it up, you'll enjoy it. If you don't like Diablo, well, it's technically the same game, it's just another class, and if you already have the game, you will still have those new areas. But if you're not interested in the Necromancer DLC, again, you still get some extra free stuff. But you guys in the comment section below, if you guys purchased the Necromancer DLC, let me know, guys, what you thought of it. I just wish that there were more endgame viable builds. Hopefully that will happen later with maybe the new season. They can make other items be a little bit more viable. And I'll be working on the litany set. I'll let you guys know how it goes, because there's a lot of crazy build ideas that I have with the Necromancer. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'm signing out.